Hi everyone, Nikki Buckaloo here at Seniors Real Estate Institute. And I'm here to address the question today, when is it okay to just walk away? Wow, thank you for that question. When is it okay to walk away? As a specialist in helping people downsize, and oftentimes our clients are older adults or maybe they're longtime homeowners, sometimes their situations can be very precarious and complex. And so it's hard to know when should I continue to help this person and when have I exhausted all of my efforts and resources. So let's talk about a few things real quick. First of all, you don't always know when you get into a relationship with a client that you're outside of your scope. And when you don't and you realize it, the sooner you realize it, the better. And you start to evaluate, is this client someone I can really help? And so I've made a few notes about things that, in my experience in the past, couple of decades, that people have come across that cause them to question, should I continue with this person or not? And the first one is, you're outside your scope, as I mentioned. They need certain things and you just can't quite help them with that. That would be the first one. The other one would be, are they in an unsanitary or unsafe environment? And therefore, that puts you at risk or your team members at risk. And then, is it possible that they just aren't willing to follow your instructions? You've given them advice and you've given them a path of how to do this and they just won't do it. And then, of course, the last one I have is they're not willing to sign a contract with you with payment and fees and expectations and mutual responsibilities. And if they're not willing to do that, it might be time to say, you know what, maybe this isn't a good fit. Well, what are some of the reasons that people might be in a situation like I just mentioned, one or more of those situations? And, honestly, sometimes it's a mental health issue. Someone has a mental health disease. Maybe they have a disease process. Maybe they have an addiction. And that becomes evident as you start working with them. It's also possible that they have some cognitive impairments or dementia. And if you don't have family members or anyone around to inform you of that, it might be subtle in the beginning and become more pronounced over time. The other thing is there are people who are just not committed to taking action yet, right? They want to maybe, but they just can't, or maybe they really just don't want to. And then, of course, there are those people who are unwilling or unable to pay. So you have some dilemmas there, right? And for many of us, this is kind of an ethical dilemma. For some, it's a moral dilemma. And for some, it's just purely a business dilemma. But whatever your dilemma, I recommend that you don't just walk away, that you at least try to get that person some help. And it may not be from you, but it might be from others. So here are a few resources that you might think about. One, if that person is in an unsafe or unsanitary environment, or you feel like they are being somehow abused or exploited or any kind of danger, obviously if it's imminent danger, you should call 911. But if it's just kind of subtle and it's been ongoing, you might want to make a report to the Department of Human Services and the Adult Protective Services specifically. And every city and every state has an Adult Protective Services department that you can call, and there are 800 numbers. You can make an anonymous referral and someone will check on them. And then, of course, if you think that it is a particularly unsafe environment and you've made that referral, you can also call the local police. You don't have to call 911. You can call their non-urgent phone line and ask them to do a well check on that person. Say, gosh, I'm worried about them. Could you just stop by and give me, you see what you think, right? And then let that police officer make that decision about whether or not more things need to be done. And then, of course, there are social service agencies out there. And maybe you know of a social service agency in your area that does help people with finances or helps people with mental health services. And I recommend that you can make a referral then to them. Of course, as I mentioned, if If you get there and you feel it's unsafe, or you feel like there's more imminent danger, don't hesitate to call 911. You know, I think people feel bad when they do that, but sometimes you're doing that person a favor by getting someone else involved. It's okay. And if you hear nothing else out of this video today, hear me say that you have permission to not serve everyone. It's not your job to save the world. We try to help as many people as we can. But if you're ever in a position where you just don't feel right about it, then listen to your instincts. Make the referral and let that person know that you've made that referral if you feel like it's appropriate. And then it's okay to go ahead and walk away. Until next time, I'm Nikki Buckaloo at the Seniors Real Estate Institute. Make it a great day.